Hello, welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio. This is April.
This is Eric.
And we're here today to talk about where to start on your to-do list. And we're going to go over 4 simple criteria to help you know how to get the most important things done. And I'm excited to have Eric with me because I often just go record things and...
She makes awesome outlines. Then she sneaks away to like a quiet place in the house or a little podcast room and records a bunch of stuff and said, I recorded 4 podcasts today. So my apologies, I'm here with you.
No, I think it's fun because we were just finishing up our step momentum. We did this awesome 3-week group and took people through and got everyone organized. They're doing a great job. And as Eric and I were on the class together, I just realized I really do enjoy doing my work so much more when we're together. We just work differently. So anyway, here we are. So today, as we're talking about where to start on our to-do list, a lot of times we end up with a long list of flexible tasks that need to be done sometime during the week. So I just put together a little example of tasks. Do you want to read that list out?
Yeah. So here are a few things that might need to be done sometime this week. Get an oil change, order prints of photos, get registered for online program, call auto insurance for renegotiate, schedule day with family to go to a park, call guitar teacher, reorganize toys in the family room, fold up camping supplies, discuss new finance process with spouse, and return library books.
When I would put lists like that together, typically I couldn't get all of those done in a day, and then I would do maybe 2, and then I would write them all the next day, but then the list would get longer.
And the next day.
And the next day. And that's how I dealt with lists all growing up. I don't know, did you make lists in high school like this, or how'd you do it?
Not so much in high school or college. I just have a list of things I need to get done, but I just look at that list probably once, throughout the, multiple times throughout the week. Mm-hmm. You had a planner system where you copy it from day to day to day to day to day. And I think that can be a little demoralizing when you realize it's the 7th day you've written the same task. So
yeah, okay. So if, as Eric was reading that list, if you're thinking, yeah, that's kind of a normal list, I have a bunch of stuff like that too. If you find that you're procrastinating those kinds of things because you feel like, well, they're all important, I need to get them done, but the list just gets longer, and you just feel kind of just frustrated with it, you've probably tried something to try to make it work better. So I grew up using my Franklin Quest planner. That's what it was at the time. And so they would have ABC 1, 2, 3. That's just what I learned. But I didn't feel like I could let anything go. I felt like I needed to keep it all on the day.
And it always feels like everything needs to be A1.
Yeah, right. And then...
What's not important?
Right. And then if I had a bunch of C's, I'm like, well, I'm pretty much going to rewrite them anyway. Because now that I'm
writing these for a month.
All them a C. So that didn't all work. But... there's also things like the Eisenhower matrix, where in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, we learn about what's urgent and what's important or not urgent or not important. So I kind of have tried to work with that a little bit, but still I just ended up looking at my lists a lot and maybe becoming even a little obsessive about the lists and judging my success at the end of the day based on how many check marks I earned or something like that.
And how worthwhile you are, how good your day was, if you're a good person.
And Eric would often not make fun of me, but in our early years of marriage, if I was frustrated, I didn't get my list done, he would say something just like that. Well, you were just not a good person because you didn't get your list checked off.
So sad.
I mean, that was his way to comically...
lovingly tell you, it's going to be okay.
You're fine.
Moving along.
But today, I just want to share 4 criteria I learned from David Allen, author of the best-selling book, Getting Things Done. And when I learned these 4 criteria, it just took the things I'd already written down that I needed to get done, but it just put them in a format that made it so much easier. And now I don't obsess about my lists anymore. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
In fact, I have a really good time with my lists.
She maybe has a better time than most people doing this, but your individual results will vary.
That's actually why I want to record with Eric, because sometimes I think I'm so giddy about my list and I love planning and organizing, and Eric is not like that. He balances me out really well. He still gets things done and he's still reliable, but he's not.
I'm not as reliable as she is, and I'm not as giddy as she gets. But if you, wonderful listener, are like April and you get giddy, then this episode is for you.
That's not what I was saying. Okay, so here are the 4 criteria. It's context, time, energy, and priority.
And I was actually looking over these notes before. I actually love, we'll go deeper into these 4 criteria. But we've had a lot of conversations, April and I, about like what are our most precious and scarce resources in life. A lot of times people will think it's money, and some people will say, yeah, it's time. Time is definitely, I think, one of them. But I think it's our time and our energy, right? And so being able to manage our tasks and the things we need to do each day, really carefully managing these two very precious resources of our energy and our time, it's so helpful.
And as we are organizing, really, my goal is to spend as little time doing tasks as possible.
Yeah.
So I can be spending more time with my loved ones or learning or creating or just doing things that I feel...
Or making next week's list.
Yes, exactly. So I thought maybe we'll just take that list from the beginning we shared and then just kind of take it through these 4 criteria, and hopefully it'll just give you a sense of how you can move forward. And even if you want to pause the podcast for a second, write down your list of flexible tasks for the week. These aren't calendar items. These are actually just very flexible things you just want to get done sometime the next week. But you can make your list and then you can go through the same thing. Okay, so first, context. It's just where you are when you are doing the thing. And so I have a video on YouTube, and we have a podcast as well about how you can customize your context based on your life. But the basic 5 that David Allen uses and that I typically use are home, phone, errands, computer, and to discuss. And so I have a little screenshot from our YouTube video that I put on the show notes page for this podcast. So you can, click the link, go find that, or maybe you're listening on the podcast page. But we have all our show notes there where we took that list and then just reorganized it. And I purposely made the list very balanced. So there's 2 items in home, like reorganize the family room toys and fold camping supplies, 2 items under phone, errands, computer to discuss. And so you can just see how I reorganized it. But just even that one, exercise of putting the tasks in the place where you're going to be when you're doing it just makes it feel a lot lighter.
Yeah.
So do you do this?
So I do some of this. So I actually don't have like keep all of them on a list with all 5 contacts. Like for errands, for example, I use calendar appointments with myself, just like calendar entries. And so like yesterday, for example, I knew I was going to be going across town for a meeting for something. And like, I've got an hour or 2 on the way back. So in that same calendar entry, I put 3 errands. That's where, as the errands came to me, that's where I put them.
Yeah.
And I knocked out all those errands. All my errands got done because I was on that cross-town meeting on the way back. For like computer tasks, I might have another calendar entry when I know I'm going to have some computer time. So I say I've got like an hour on my computer. And that's where I kind of assemble the tasks. And then I'll delete the ones off that I got done. Okay. And I might move that calendar entry over to the next time on my calendar, like a day or 2 ahead when I know I'm going to have some computer time. So I kind of move on flexible calendar appointments for like 2 or 3 of these contexts. And
but works for me. I love that you share that because some people who are listening might think, okay, yes, I want to make it my weekly list. Like for me, I use a bookmark in my planner. Some people just use a digital note. There's all kinds of apps you can use. But some of you might just want your weekly list made. Or some of you might think, oh, I actually like the way Eric does it. I generally have control over my time where I know I will be doing errands at that time or I will be doing computer work at this time. And so that might work better for someone else. And
like on my computer work, for example, the one I had, for earlier this morning, I had the computer activities most urgent near the top of that little short list. The ones that could wait till today, tomorrow, Saturday, I just let those be more at the bottom. I'll get to them, but it's kind of like an internal prioritization flow that makes it very easy to get to the ones that have to get done sooner than later. The ones that are flexible can be more to the bottom.
And I would suggest if you have a life where you feel like I always schedule things and then it never happens, then I would say don't put it on your calendar.
Don't do what I do.
Use the flexible list. But if you say, actually, no, I pretty much live by my calendar. If it goes on there, it gets done. That's great. So I think I would just base it like that. I felt like especially when we had young children, I couldn't calendar anything because I didn't know who was waking up when or what was going on. And so it worked great for me. And I still really like the flexibility. So, okay. So that is context. Now we're going to look at time. Basically, everything I put on my next actions list, I like it to be 10 minutes or less, but sometimes they aren't. Like if it's an errand, like I have the oil change on there, that takes me longer than 10 minutes. But when you put something on your next actions list, you may need to have some buffer around it. Some things are just quick tasks you can do in 5 minutes. Some are things where they could expand. like a phone call to, an insurance company, you can't guarantee it's going to be done in 10 minutes. It might take a lot longer. And so what I recommend you do is you don't have to do this all the time. This can be something you kind of do in your head, but I think as an exercise right now is look now at your context-based list with all the tasks on it that you've, prepared, and then write down about how long you think each one will take. And so I have another screenshot on the show notes page where I share like, okay, I think, the oil change, maybe 45 minutes, but returning library books, maybe 5 minutes. Or ordering photo prints, 10 minutes. Registering for an online program, I could probably do that in 5. But just being able to kind of guesstimate how long something's going to take, then that's going to help you in your decision making, because then okay, well, how much time do I have? Let's just find the task that matches, my context, time, and now we'll move into energy.
Wherever you are, then figure out which task in that has the time you could fit in. And it's a ballpark estimate, but it should help you.
And then third is energy. And this really just is my favorite. That's why I get so excited about building a step system. We call it our step command central, because my energy fluctuates. And so if I didn't sleep well last night, or I'm having a hormonal day, or there's a lot going on in our family and just emotionally I'm tied up thinking about some other things, I don't want to feel like I need to go jump into a very high energy task that requires my best work when I am feeling depleted and frustrated. And this is probably the same for, I think, everyone, right?
No, it's just you.
Just me. Okay. So an idea would be on your list to just write like low, medium, high for how much energy you would want to be able to have available for those specific tasks. And so by the time you get done with just those 3 things, putting into context, putting how much time it'll take, and then looking at your energy, each task actually has kind of a little rating that you've put together. And this maybe looks a little too complicated. I don't do this every single day. This is just something that's more natural now. But I love being able to just assess and know that I'm in charge of deciding what I want to do when, and then having it match up. And then the final one is just priority. So some people say, well, priority shouldn't be last. Priority should be first. Like, do the things that are most important. And so that's where I use the calendar. If something has to be done today, that's on the calendar, either as an appointment or as a flexible task like Eric was talking about. But otherwise, if it's on this list, my next actions list, and this is flexible for the week, I'm assuming all of them, as long as they get done by the end of the week, that's fine. But at certain times of the day, you'll have to decide, okay, which is most important to me. So that's kind of how it works, is I just look at my list when I have little pockets of time that open up and say, okay, where am I right now? Am I home? That doesn't mean I only have to do things in the home category. It means I could also do things, phone calls or computer, or to discuss if I have a family member home. Yeah. I'm out on errands, same. I could do something with a phone call, or, pull up my phone, do kind of a computer type task on the internet on my phone.
While you're safely parked and not driving.
While I'm safely parked, right. Not while I'm driving. And when you have a list that's very small to begin with, and then you work using these 4 criteria, it really does feel effortless to get stuff done.
You'll be amazed how quickly a lot of these tasks just happen, because, you've pre-thought them, you figured out time and energy you need for them, and wherever you are, you can just knock them out. And you're like, wow, I just got all this done. That was easier than I thought.
Mm-hmm. So fun. Okay. Are you feeling giddy too?
I was going to say, we're excited for you. You're going to do this. It's going to be awesome.
All right. I just have 4 brief suggestions kind of as we finish up this topic, but I also just encourage you, and a lot of this is from Eric's encouragement to me, is not just to put have-to items on your list, but also add things on your list that increase the fun in your life.
We're allowed to have fun and enjoy.
Strengthen our family. Yes, build our faith. Just give us something to look forward to.
So the good things in life, make sure those are on your lists.
Mm-hmm. And I think Eric is naturally, I love my tasks.
Me too. I get up in the morning and then I'm just grateful for my tasks.
My projects I'm working on.
A new day of life, my family and friends, and my tasks.
I'm happy doing things on my list. I think it's really fun. And my projects and the stuff that I'm working on, give me some good computer work and I will just sit and be so happy creating and working on stuff like that.
I don't even have a rebuttal for that. Middle of my day, I'm just looking heavenward saying, please give me more tasks. I yearn for more tasks.
I don't mean like that. Like I was saying earlier, I try to spend as little time doing like random tasks. Like I don't love oil changes or like watering the plants necessarily.
But returning library books, that is the end all be all.
But I love, okay, stop. I do have to throw in a little funny thing. Eric and I did a little getaway recently. And for one of the days of the getaway, he went to explore. And
we did a little divide and conquer day, doing things we most love.
Yeah. So we're like, okay, so we had breakfast together and we said, okay, I'll see you at dinner. And then Eric went off and made all these new friends and explored.
I adventured, saw these places, made new friends, learned new
things. He came home with like 100 pictures.
And I'm like, 100?
1,000 pictures?
Oh, we're probably like between 200 to 500.
Okay.
Somewhere in there. I'm just so energized because I've just had this day. That's how I energize.
He's like outside the whole day.
How was your day?
And I'm like, I didn't take one picture. I sat by myself and I just read
She sat
and
in
thought.
a beautiful little place and read and thought and wrote things. And so we all do things differently. So there's strength in our individual ways.
But you could put things on your list that are fun for you, right? So
fun for you.
It might be different. We still have fun together, but
individual lists may vary.
But things like, all right, I'll stop. So next idea is just really, I can't emphasize this enough, but keep the list simple. Just a few items if possible. I try not to have more than 3 things in any context. But if you're thinking, why have 50 things I have to do? Most of them can go kind of like on a next in line list, or they can be put into a calendar reminder and do it later. But the main thing I see people doing that makes them feel frustrated with this process is they fill their lists with like dozens and dozens of things. And then they say, oh, I have no time to do my projects, or I have no time to do anything else because all I'm doing are my tasks.
Yeah.
And then next is, remember, you can customize this list. So if you're thinking, my home list is getting super, super long, you could segment that list and say something like, oh, this is my home list when I have high energy, or home list when I have low energy, or when my kids are awake or my kids are asleep, or whatever. But you can adjust things or have an at the office or something like that. Yeah. And then the final idea is just that this next actions list is working alongside the calendar, your routines, and your project work. And we have a bunch of videos and podcasts on those. You can always go to our directory. It's learndobecome.com/directory to see all of the topics and things we cover. But this isn't the only list that we use. It's just part of the whole system. We call it the STEP system. And that's really fun. I love that as well.
It's a fun system.
But also, I just wanted to kind of close up with some thoughts that as we're sharing ideas about getting organized and using your lists and having things, all neat and tidy and checked off, it isn't for the sake of just having a clean desk and getting a lot done. And I think a lot of times when we study organization or read about organization or, watch videos on it or buy supplies for it, it's kind of like that's the end purpose. It's like
to be able to
organized.
Do tasks from a list and be organized.
That makes you giddy. But we had our momentum graduation yesterday, and Eric and I were talking to this awesome community. We found that I think everyone on the call was agreeing that they're not here to get organized so they have a clean desk. It's because they want to live their purpose and they want to feel excited about their lives.
Yes. So I have a little thing if you want me to read from a book there. So there's a couple quotes. This little getaway we did was kind of back to the New England area. And I love some of the writings of like Emerson and Thoreau and some of the other kind of mid-1800 writers there. And there's a quote from Thoreau that I just love. It's actually on a sign around Walden Pond. And it's one of the things maybe he's most remembered saying, but I'm going to modify it a little bit. And maybe April can chip in here.
Nope,
I got it.
Okay.
So April can chip in with what she says, but what it says here, I'll read the original, but then I'm going to paraphrase a couple things. And he says, I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately. Okay, I'm going to change that phrase up, and I'm going to read the rest of what he wrote. I organized my life, right? I got things in order because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. And so as we talk about getting organized and having kind of a simple process for getting tasks done or building this command central, it's not the end in itself, right? It's not to get organized or to feel more productive. It's to be able to live deliberately, focusing on the things that matter most to us. And so when we come to die, discover that we had not lived, but actually that we have lived our lives to the fullest. A paragraph later, he says, simplicity, simplicity, simplicity. I say, let your affairs be as 2 or 3 and not 100 or 1,000. Instead of 1,000,000, count half a dozen and keep your accounts on your thumbnail. And I love that, like keeping our lives simple, like we said in those last suggestions. People mock Thoreau, saying that literally he should have said simplicity once instead of 3 times or twice in another place. But the heart of the matter is keeping our lives simple, keeping things focused on what matters most. That really is what we're about here at Learn to Become. Knowing what we value and being able to put our energy and our time, these precious resources, in focus to accomplish those things.
Okay, I love that you shared that. So one of our members mentioned she had these weekend wins. And she goes through and she shares, here's what I did Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon and Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon. And it was things like spending time with my mother-in-law and my daughter. We went to a town having a fall fest and there was a parade and had a brother in town and we made a meal and did chores and laughed together and played the piano at a local church. My son came along and the kids took turns and it's a bonding time for us. And then they had a special lunch and she decluttered a spot of books. Like she did all these things. And so she's sharing her weekend wins. But then she said, why was all this so significant to me? Because I didn't spend any time wishing I was doing something else or worried that I ought to be.
It's big.
And that, as you were, reading what Thoreau had written, it's that whole idea of living deliberately, where as you're living, you're there in the moment. You're enjoying the people you're with. You're enjoying the sights.
Being in the moment. You understand your why. You understand your who.
Mm-hmm. And so sometimes when we, talk about getting organized and people say, oh, I don't need to be organized. But what I would ask is, while you are with your loved ones or while you're doing your creative work or your professional work or whatever else it is that you're doing, does your mind spin and say, hang on, should you be doing something else? I think you need to do all these things. You have this whole list waiting for you. Like, is that happening in the back of your mind? Or are you calm and present because you know that everything is safe and you can take care of it when it's the right time?
Because we can assure you honestly, we've seen it in hundreds of thousands of people. This approach literally can calm or quiet that voice. So you literally can be present and you can live deliberately.
So that's our encouragement for today. Hope that this was helpful for you. Any final words you want to say?
No, I'll just say thank you so much for giving us the time and letting us be able to share some things with you. Hope they're helpful and grateful to have you with us.
I do encourage you to write out your list and go through this exercise of the 4 criteria.
So you can get giddy too.
It'll be so fun. And if you're brand new, come to learndobecome.com/step. We have an introductory training called How to Finally Stop Drowning in Piles, where Eric and I will walk through a fun process. And it's a good time. Okay. All right. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon.